This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Commerce City, Colorado. I'm here at the Radiance Church. Since 1979, they have been sharing the gospel through an authentic community of believers. I am here and joined by the Bender leadership team, we could say. Let's start off a little bit about each one of you. First of all, let's start off on this side. You have been here, pretty much leadership of the church since the 80s. Share with me a little bit how you got involved in the organization here.
Well, the church started in '79 off a street meeting, and it just continued to grow from there. And Charlotte and I kind of started pastoring together and taking it over, in the '80s. We moved up from downtown. We did a stewardship campaign. We bought some land, couldn't build, so we sold the land. This facility became available. It's amazing how God takes you step by step. In the fray of it, you don't really know sometimes where you're going, but I just really began to realize success is defined in being obedient to the Lord and doing what He wants us to do, and so it's been exciting.
A very exciting story. I mean, what began many, many years ago has grown through community. We now fast forward to the year 2016. It's been kind of an exciting year for you, pretty eventful as you take on new leadership roles here within the church. Share with me what you're hoping for the future here as we go into the next year.
Absolutely. I really see God leading us to have an increased impact into this region and into Denver. I think we do have a future in Denver as well. God led us out here to the northeast into Commerce City, but I do think we have a future in Denver. My wife and I live there, and we have a heart for the city as well. But really, it's just being obedient and faithful to what God has called us to. We're all about Jesus and who He is, who He's called us to be, and He's been leading us, and our role is to be obedient and faithful to Him. And our job is to ensure that we grow, not just in numbers, but internally growing closer to Him.
Absolutely. I mean, quite honestly, Christianity began over 2,000 years ago. It began by a community, a small group of people who shared the gospel, and across the nation, across the region, and across the world. That's really what you have here today. What do you mean when you talk about an authentic community?
Well, we believe that Jesus was very real. If children like you, you're a pretty real guy. And children were drawn to Jesus. And we are to be real. And our relationship with Jesus doesn't end on Sunday morning. It is all through the week. And we have community through the week and small groups. And also, we are connected in our community. We're connected with nonprofits in the community. And so our Sunday gathering is not where it ends. We have a relationship that's authentic and real with the real Jesus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday. And Sunday's just the time that we gather in a corporate way to then be released into our communities to make a difference.
Excellent. I mean, obviously a community, when I look around, you basically have a group of people here that are pretty diverse. I mean, diversity is here. I see different, basically cultures, different socioeconomics, different music, even different languages. Is that important when it comes to bringing everyone together, and is everyone welcome here?
Yeah, that's a large part of who we are. God bringing a lot of cultures, even languages together. We've recently begun interpreting in Spanish, so those who don't understand English well enough can wear headsets, and we have a very good interpreter who interprets the sermons and whenever we're gathered together. So that is really who God is creating us to be. Along the lines of an authentic community is but we're not fake, and we are who we are, and this is who God has called us to be. You know, we're not trying to manufacture anything or create a big machine of a church. We are who we are, and we walk in that. And breaking down language barriers has been, especially recently, very, very big to what God has called us to. It happened very naturally. It wasn't like we set out and said, let's do this, but families who didn't speak any English started becoming a part of our community. And so we responded to that. And then God really showed us that that's a part of our impact and role in this community, especially in Commerce City. It's a lot of Spanish-speaking families, a lot of diversity in that sense as well. So in that aspect, we really do represent the community that we're serving. And in that way, we're just an extremely authentic community. No, not trying to manufacture anything. We just are who God has called us to be.
Wonderful. Let me ask you again. When you first began out, you had some ideas of where you would end up, where the facility would be, what you would build, and you were led down this road. Tell me a little bit about this facility. It looks like a perfect fit for you.
Yeah, we had sold the land because, we knew we weren't going to build. And so I knew God needed, that we needed to sell the land. So we thought, okay, we got money in the bank, we'll have interest, that kind of stuff. And almost immediately, this facility became available. And it was kind of like, do you actually think God would, that we would even end up here, Right. And but God made a way, and so it's been an incredible blessing and just a incredible opportunity to buy something, and we couldn't have built something like this for what we were trying to build.
It's wonderful. It's a great facility. I walked around during the service. Yes. You've got ample room for the people here. You've got a great fellowship area here. Let's start off a little bit about Christianity. I see a lot of connecting. I see a lot of people speaking together. To be a Christian, we have to engage. We have to be part of that community. Let's start off about the team here, how people can really be involved. Everywhere from the greeters, I see ushers that basically are making sure everything runs smoothly as well as safely. Tell me a little bit about your welcome team.
Yeah, we have teams that really accomplish anything we need to accomplish. So that's kind of how we're built and how we function, is all through teams. So we do have a welcome team that welcomes people, also doing follow-up. We have an interpreting team. We have a youth ministry team. We have the cafe and atmospherics team. So everything we do is team-based. Even the leadership of the church, which is, we would call this the eldership team, which are the pastors that lead the church. Everything is team-based. And that's a part of who we are, part of our values too, because even God himself is a team with the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and we see team in that pattern of team all through Scripture. And that's how we've kind of begun to function, is through teams. So there's lots of ways for people to get engaged through service, with serving on a team, and that's really just how we function.
Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, not only diversity between different languages, but obviously between different age groups. We're hoping a church that is open to the elderly all the way down to the children. Tell me a little bit about your children's ministry. Where does that take place? Upstairs?
Yeah, we have a room upstairs that we're really able to transform. There's like a teepee and lots of rugs, and we have tapestries that cover the wall. So we're really able to transform that space up there. We have an awesome children's ministry team that's been doing a really good job with the kids. And it's been awesome to see that grow too, and continue to kind of move forward in how we're ministering to the kids.
Speaking of moving forward, I think one of the most critical times for the youth is during the teenage years. Share with me a little bit how you're able to help as far as the youth ministry, and what do you hope for the future there?
Yeah, we do have a group of teens. We are working on really getting that launched. It probably hasn't been functioning quite to the level that we want it to, but we do have some young kids who are hungry, and just getting them together and just being around kids who kind of going through the same stuff. And we have some people who have been serving in that area, and they've been awesome, and they've been gifted in that area as well. So. You
also have an events team that takes care of basically conferences that take place here, as well as, or maybe even a garden party out back. What I see is there's a lot of different ways that each person can really be a part of the team here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have lots of opportunities for people to engage with the different teams. And really, if something does come up that we need to do together, we'll just create a team to serve in that area.
Even before the praise and worship takes place, I noticed that you have a great fellowship area here where people can kind of hang out as a family, not only before church, but after. They're able to meet and mingle. Tell me a little bit about the cafe team. That person has to be pretty friendly with everybody, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a real important thing of who we are, too, when we gather, is that connecting. We really wanted people not just to come in and out like cattle, I guess, but to really we're building community, and that does happen on Sunday mornings when we gather. We also have small groups and other stuff that happens a little bit more organically too, but when we gather together on Sundays, we want there to be relationships that are built. We want there to be connecting. So we've actually been intentional about changing that culture to where people do arrive early and connect, and then people don't split right away. Some people do, but that there's opportunity for people to hang out out, have coffee, and just be with one another.
What I like about a small community church like this is the fact that there really is something for everybody. Not only the people that want to be up front and center on the worship band, but also people that behind the scenes, like the prayer chain. These are all part of really what makes a community special. Is that important that all those spots are filled?
Yes, it is. And I think that's what's also very good about having a small community, is that we can really get to know one another and we can really know the needs that are in that community. Now, of course, we want it to grow and continue to get larger, but the thing that's been so cool about our community is that we've been breaking down so many barriers. From the very beginning of this church, it's been very diverse. It wasn't anything that we weren't intentional about. We just stumbled on it, and we just loved people. And people feel comfortable. No matter what I mean by comfortable, they feel the love of God. And when you feel the love of God, then your preconceived ideas about one another can break down. You labor together. You go through struggle together. You pray together. And it's really been exciting to see what God's done.
Speaking of folks that basically are able to find the love of God and basically almost get out of their seats, no other way does that more than I see of music out there. Beautiful music, people get up, really enjoy it. Has music been something you've done your entire life?
Yeah, music's been a part of my whole life. I mean, it's what I do, it's what I breathe, it's what I live, really, so...
Feel for you when you look out basically at the congregation there and you basically see people connecting with the music that really is a gift for you to provide?
I feel very privileged to be on the stage, just giving Jesus glory and praise and being able to lead his people into worship. I'm always humbled and just grateful to be given the gift to do so.
Wonderful. I mean, obviously for a lot of people, they find Christianity right here, possibly on a Sunday. But like you said, Christianity is not a Sunday, one-day event. The actual message of Christianity is not meant to stay here within four walls. It's meant to go out and reach the community. Tell me about the outreach program. Is that a very important factor as well?
Yes, we've always been a very community-focused church from the very beginning, and have been very involved in our community, and not just in church activities, but in government as well. What I mean by being involved in government is we pray for our city leaders. We know our mayor. We know the city council. We know who these people are. We know who's working and laboring amongst the poor in our community, because we're right there with them. And we believe that if we're going to have impact into our city, we have to be about the peace of our city and helping facilitate good things in our city. And who better than people of faith? And so we've connected with other churches in the area, other community groups in the area, and we've become a facility that they use to launch a lot of their programs as well. So we have several programs that meet here through the week.
Speaking of launching other programs right out of the walls here, you have partnered up with nonprofits as well. Some of the nonprofits have gone out and been able to educate people. Tell me a little bit about those.
Yeah, well, one of our primary partnerships with nonprofits is through Community Uplift Partnership, and they are Commerce City based, and they're really to serve and to work with those in need in Commerce City, and to really rehabilitate and to bring growth and that kind of stuff. And it's been an awesome partnership with that. We ran their food bank for a little while, and now helping with their mobile food pantry. They have a lot of their meetings, a lot of their life skills class and that kind of stuff here on site with us. So that's been pretty awesome to kind of see that flourish. And then also we have an art school that was birthed out of the church. It's still under the umbrella of the church, but they are beginning to grow in their own, and it's Lit Studios, and it's primarily a dance school, but they also focus on a lot of the arts as well, as far as music lessons and canvas arts and that kind of stuff.
So absolutely, it's meant to reach out beyond the walls here.
Yes, and what's been really exciting is that we've also partnered with a Denver-based nonprofit called Save Our Youth. We were the facility that actually hosted their educational program in the summer, and that works with getting kids. It's a mentoring organization that works with getting kids mentors, and they've had tremendous success in kids graduating from high school, and we do a summer academy, and which works on getting them up to grade level. And so there's a number of, partnerships. We don't believe we have to reinvent the wheel, but we are committed to nonprofits that help break cycles of poverty. That's really our mission, if we're going to be involved in the community, to help the poor, which is so much a part of what the scripture talks about.
Absolutely. So we're basically talking about a community. A church understands that they're not an island all by themselves. They have to partner up with others as well, and yet you're welcome to everyone here. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. First of all, on the website, you can take a look at the different service times they have for you right there. Take a look at the leadership team, not only the 4 Bender leaders that I have right here, but also an entire list of team that are basically have come together to basically spread the message of the gospel. You can also take a look at the website there and check out their podcast. If you can't make it in and you would like to hear the message for the week, check it out right there. They also have an archive of past talks and sermons that they've had right there as well. And obviously on Facebook, they have a lot of programs that are still in the infancy because they're looking towards the future. They definitely need people to come in and take a look. If you'd like to donate as well, you can do that right there on the website also. Let me ask you this. The team, you've seen it evolve throughout the years. You've seen it grown probably in places that you never even imagined it would go to. As you really bring together a community together and spread the gospel, pretty much like they did 2,000 years ago, has it been rewarding to be part of that process?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an incredible privilege to be able to lead God's people in that, and the calling that He's called each and every one of us to be witnesses, to have an impact in our communities, and yeah, I feel incredibly privileged. I mean, even when we had the transition of leadership from my parents to Crystal and I, probably before that, I mean, I was still a pastor, I was still on the team, but I didn't carry the weight of the leadership role. And when we were going through that process, there was like an excitement and a nervous, I was nervous too, but during the actual service and when we were doing that officially, I just had such a sense of privilege. To where it is a privilege to lead God's people, but it's also a weight and responsibility.
A big responsibility. Christianity has never been a spectator sport. We have to be the ones that are actually in the ring and involved with people, and at times it's exciting, but at the same time it can be very scary. If we have an individual or a family out there that basically hasn't found a family, they live in the area close by, what would you tell them?
Well, if you're looking for a place where you can find Jesus being the reality in your life, this would be a good place to come. Not only locally are we connected, but we've also been working into the nations. We started going to Haiti in 1979 and built a very strong...
First year that we got married.
First year we got married.
Haiti.
And been
going there since. So.
1979, and there's a strong base church there that's planted like 13, 14 churches out of there. And when we were in Africa, we were just in Africa, God really spoke to Josiah about us breaking into Cuba, breaking into the Dominican, breaking into Puerto Rico. And in that year, since we've been in Africa, those doors are starting to open up. We now have a contact in the Dominican, into Cuba. We have a Puerto Rican family that has joined our church, and we have they're here. They're going to take us into Puerto Rico, and so it's just been exciting to see what God has done over the years. Mexico, we've done a lot in, but it's been really exciting to see those Spanish-speaking regions because we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people. So,
Like you say, authentic. I think is the best word, authentic, basically meaning there's no errors, there's no fake, there's basically who we are. We have problems and we have excitement and challenges just like everyone is. As you've seen, basically, the church evolve since the 80s, probably in ways and directions that you would never have imagined. Maybe at times you felt overwhelmed. As you look back now and you pass off the torch, the leadership torch, how has that been for you?
It's been interesting. It's been a challenge. When we're obedient to the Lord, sometimes we don't know what's ahead and why we're going through what we're going through. And but I had to do what I knew I had to do, and that was in trying to transitioning the church and all that kind of stuff. And little did I know that I was actually setting it up for my son to take over, because it wasn't on our radar for him to take it over. I just knew that we had to do what we needed to do. And then in February of this year, we turned it over to Josiah and Chrissy, and it's been a great experience. I feel privileged that I'm able to stay here, to be a part of the leadership, to be on staff, continue here. Sometimes the head guy has got to leave in order for the new one to take over, but it's, a good leader is a good follower too. And so I support Josiah and Chrissy and all they're doing, and I've seen them rise up and do what they need to do, and they're taking it to places that I couldn't take it. It was time. It was just one of those times. Yeah, I could have pastored a few more, longer and stuff, but it was time, and Josiah was ready, and so, run for it, and he can take it to another level that I couldn't take it, and now it's a supportive role, and I feel more like a grandparent than the one in charge, just with their kids and stuff. I mean, it's a role shift. It's different, but when you embrace it, I mean, God's got some great things in store, and so it's been exciting for us too, just to see the whole thing.
Exciting and challenging. Like you say, our plan is, basically our plan is not always God's plan, and we just have to be open to that plan. Viewers, last time, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. Once again, take a look at the team, the different services they provide out there. Basically, this is a church that will be your church. This is a place you can walk in and feel welcome. Join them early on for fellowship. We've got a welcome team. We'll lead you through everything they offer here. Obviously, this is a church that has evolved throughout the years. They've been around since 1979, but this is a great place to come in, praise and worship, and like they say, it is all centered around Christianity of Jesus. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.